Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Coffee with Craig, where we talk about all things firearms, firearms policy, politics, culture, media, you name it. We're talking about it right here on Coffee with Craig. So please take a moment, like and share the program so that your friends can know where the conversation is taking place. Also, please make it a point to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And on the case of YouTube and Facebook, make sure you hit that notification button. That way you can get notified as soon as we go live, and you can participate in the live chat as the program is taking place. Also want to encourage you, please visit fpcgear.com. That's fpcgear.com. It is the place to go to find all of your cool Pro 2A swag. I'm talking T-shirts, coffee mugs. I'm talking hoodies. I'm talking stuff for the office, stuff for the home. We even have those masks if you need to wear them to go grocery shopping or be out in public and want to make sure that you send the message that you want to send. Now, the best part about this, folks, is every dollar that you spend goes right back into the fight for our right to keep and bear arms. So you can support the Second Amendment and you can look good doing it. That's fpcgear.com. All right, this is one going out specifically for the folks in California, but also for those of you who are in other states, because trust me, what happens in California does not stay in California, if you haven't learned that already. But I wanted to give a little bit of a legislative update. The California State Legislature has adjourned for this session. And there are a few bills that have made their way to the governor's desk. And so want to just kind of let you guys know about those and encourage you guys to give the governor a call or go to our Take Action page and make sure you let the governor know exactly how you feel about this particular legislation. All right, let's go through these measures real quick. Okay, so first of all, we have AB 2362. It's sponsored by Assemblymember Al Marantucci, that's it. Obviously, Democrat from Southern California. Let's see here. It authorizes the Department of Justice to levy exorbitant fees and fines on firearms dealers for minor violations. Folks, the reason why this is so important is this. Once again, they realize they're having a very hard time dealing with the whole, shall not be infringed part of the Constitution. But folks, this is a direct attempt to basically put firearms retailers out of business because they realize, or at least as some decisions have made, they're like, well, you may have the right to own a gun, but you don't have a right to buy one. You don't have a right to sell one. And if they can take out the firearms retailers, then they severely restrict your ability to be able to purchase firearms, to be able to purchase ammunition, or to be able to purchase accessories, or even to be able to do private party transfers. Their goal, folks, is to put these folks out of business. And so now what they want to do is they want to be able to find these retailers. Now, they already know. If there are retailers that are actually doing bad things and doing it on a regular basis or making mistakes and doing it on a regular basis, they already know who they are. They know they're a very, very small number. And they already had the ability to basically take their license. But the problem is that it's not their goal. They don't want to shut down the bad ones. They want to shut them all down because that way they can make sure that we aren't able to exercise our right to keep and bear arms. So that's AB 2362. Obviously, we have an oppose on that particular measure. All right, let's move on to AB 2847. This has to do with the handgun roster. It's sponsored by Assemblymember David Chu from Northern California. It revises the criteria for the handgun microstamping and requires the removal of 3 certified handguns from the roster for a new handgun added. And folks, we all know this is simply an attempt. It's simply an attempt to remove more firearms or ban more firearms from the roster for people to be able to own them. Look, it's real simple. They feared that their microstamping requirement, which requires microstamping in 2 places, and by the way, is a technology that does not exist and is not possible, they already know that that's probably going to wind up failing if it gets to the Supreme Court. So they're trying to do an end around now. They're trying to say, okay, fine. We'll just put microstamping in one place. But once we do, then every firearm that gets approved, well, then we're going to remove 3 from the roster. And they don't talk about how they're going to determine which ones are going to be removed. They don't talk about how these firearms are going to get approved. I mean, in essence, what you could wind up happening is one firearm retailer looking to flood the market could basically put out If they put out a dozen guns, and that means 24 guns, or they put out a dozen guns, that means that 36 guns are removed from the roster. If they put out 10, right, that means that 30 firearms are removed from the roster. Folks, it's and there's nothing stopping somebody who is truly anti-gun from putting out some piece of crap guns, but make it on the roster in order to knock off some firearms that we depend on here in the state of California to be able to purchase. Now, keep in mind, this not unsafe handgun roster bans the sale of firearms that are safe and in common use in every other state in the country. So, folks, this is a pretty big one. This is huge. If the roster is nothing more than a slow version of a semi-automatic handgun ban. This bill, should it become law, would help accelerate that ban. So please remember, AB 2847, need to vote no. Okay, moving right along. Now we're on to SB 914. SB 914 is sponsored by Senator Portantino, who seems to have this thing about trying to make sure that people under the age, adults, law-abiding adults under the age of 21, don't have the ability to defend themselves. It further denies Second Amendment rights to young adults under the age of 21, and it narrows the exemptions for loaning long guns to minors. Right? That's their whole goal. Once again, they not only do they not want someone under the age of 18, but if you want to take a minor out, someone under the age of 18, this bill further restricts that. What it also does is it raises the fees that the California Department of Justice can charge for eligibility checks on certain ammunition purchases and precursor parts. Folks, let's just be real. Once again, their whole goal is that, once again, they can't ban it, but if they can price you out of it, if they can make it so complicated that you don't want to loan a firearm, or you don't want to allow a minor to use a firearm, that you don't want to raise your children up in order to be safe and know and understand and have a healthy respect for firearms, well, that's what this bill is designed to do. It's designed to make sure that it's just a little too complicated and it costs a little too much for you to be able to do it. That way, their hope is that they'll get young people, they'll take a whole generation and make sure that they're not interested in firearms or gun culture. So that's their goal. That's their goal in this particular bill. And once again, we need to encourage Governor Gavin Newsom to veto this particular piece of legislation. All right, so here's what we need you to do. We need you to call Gavin Newsom. I know, it may be a waste of time, but folks, this is what we do. This is what we have to do. This is how the process works. We need to make sure to give him a call to let him know that these bills need to die, okay? The number's right there, 916-445-2841. All right, now what we also want you to do is go to our Take Action page. All of those bills are located right there. You can go in and you can make sure to send an email to him as well. Folks, a phone call is better than an email. An email is better than nothing, right? Make sure you guys do that. Make sure you take a moment to go ahead and do that. Well, folks, you know what? Hey, it's that time of year. Once again, election is going to be coming up. Please make sure you take the time to educate yourself on all of the candidates from school board on up who are running for office. Make sure you try and find out where they stand on your fundamental rights. The reason why we're having to go to Gavin Newsom and ask him to stand up for our Second Amendment rights is because we didn't elect somebody who we knew would. So this is where we are. So, folks, remember, elections have consequences. Make sure that you vote the Second Amendment. I'm going to say it again. Make sure that you vote the Second Amendment. And right now, make sure you also make sure that your voice is heard. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's Coffee with Craig. We very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and telling your friends about the Firearms Policy Coalition. We are the home in the fight for civil rights. Got to use them or you're going to lose them. You guys take care.
If you like our videos, follow, subscribe, like, and share.